Hey guys, so today I'm doing a drawing that was a request from a viewer. I don't know how to pronounce their YouTube name. I am so sorry. It's literally MAXVE underscore. So yeah. Thank you for requesting me to draw hawks in this. It's basically one of those TikTok trends where you hold the selfie light on top of your head in the dark and pretend as if you're an angel. It's kind of like a halo thing, but it's super cute, and I thought I would draw My Hero Academia characters as this. And honestly, I didn't know what character to draw next, so I do thank you for actually requesting this one, because obviously I wanted to do one where I had a cosplay of it, so that way at the end of the video I can do one. It's called Infinity because it has a song called Infinity on it, and literally people just do the whole trend with that song and lights and stuff like that. Normally people do like special effects on it so that way the light's glowing and looks really cool, but unfortunately I don't really edit my videos that well and I'm still learning, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, so I was requested to draw hawks, and honestly, this one felt the most fitting in terms of the fact that Hawks looks like an angel anyways, because he has hawk's wings. Super cute. It's been a while since I even drew hawks to begin with, so this was kind of one of those, oh, I haven't done this in a while anyways. I wanted to do something cool, yet something super, I don't know, flirty, because Hawks is more like that in the video. So he is actually one of the pro heroes, one of my favorite pro heroes. Actually, I don't have a lot of favorite pro heroes per se. I only like Hawks, All Might, Fat Gum, a Eraserhead, and Gang Orca as well, but there's not a lot of like characters that are older that I like. So yeah, Hawks is one of my favorite because he's more, I think he's closer to 25 years old, and he actually is like the youngest pro hero who's super like fast at like growing in terms of like his speed of growing into like a professional hero was really fast in development compared to other heroes. So yeah, he's like the youngest in terms of them, but he also has like a lot of maturity because he does like secret agent stuff. So yeah, um I like his hair. It's really like spiky and squiggly and wavy. It's pretty difficult to draw, to be honest. I'm gonna say like his hair is honestly one of the harder hairstyles to draw. Because it looks slicked back, but at the same time it's very messy, so it's not really straight. But I do enjoy drawing his hair a lot. This time for his wings, I didn't really give that much detail. To be honest, I usually give more detail than this, but my red markers were honestly running out of ink, so I tried my best to mix like some red and orange together for it, which you will see later on. But yeah, for Hawks, I didn't know if I wanted to do like an actual like full-on pose. Like for Kirishima, I did a pose where he was flexing, but because Hawks isn't really a muscular character, like he has muscles, but he's not seen as a very muscular melee type character. I didn't want to do that for him. Kirishima's an exception because he uses his body mostly for the for like hardening and his quirk. While Hawks uses his wings, so yeah. Same thing with Bakugo. I didn't give him much of like a flexing thing just because he's more of just using his quirk as explosions, but I did want Hawks to have a different facial expression just because he has a different personality compared to the others. Yeah. I have to say, drawing hands in that angle is super confusing because I'm like, okay, how does it look when you hold something in that angle? And honestly, I did look at like real life examples of those TikTok videos to kind of get the gist of how their hands look when they're doing it. So that was my reference point. Honestly, I have to say, this is one of those drawings where I'm like, do the hands look okay or is it just not right at all? So yeah, I do apologize if they don't look that great, to be honest. Not my best work in drawing hands, to be fair. But yeah, the angle for the neck and like the head, it's a bit different because you kind of bend your head lower when you're doing like when you're making those types of videos. So when I looked at references of how people were doing the poses and stuff, it was kind of different from what I'm used to drawing. So yeah. But honestly, it was great for like muscle practice in terms of like if you move your arms upwards, how do your muscles look flexed like that? So it was kind of that learning just learning how the muscles would look if I do that. Normally, I don't draw characters with their hands up in that particular angle just because it's that's super high compared to how I draw like characters raising their hands. So it was a new experience, but honestly, I did like it. It was fairly simple. I don't know. I've been like asking my friend like tips too because my friend's super into art as well. He basically sent me a video of like drawing hands because I did want to learn how to draw hands better. I know my friend is great at shading and also he spent a whole year learning like pencil shading and how to shade like characters in general when he was drawing. As for me, I'm still kind of borderline a newbie when it comes to shading. Like I shade differently and it still looks very 2D and flat whenever I do it. So yeah. But overall, I think it turned out really pretty. Hawks has a lot of black, but then also Bakugo and Kirishima had a lot of black. So actually my touch marker was running out of ink when I was drawing Hawks because every character that I like ends up having like black on their hero suit, and the problem is like I only have one black marker, so it just, it was running out of ink. Okay, so my major concern was whether or not I should have done the yellow highlights of his shirt first or last. Just because if I put it first, the problem with touch markers is because I use a thinner paper than other artists. A lot of people use the cardstock to draw, but I haven't found like cardstock. I need to go to Staples for that, and that's pretty like far away. Also, on top of that, like it's more expensive, so I just use printer paper. So the absorbing of the ink, what happens is every place that I put the touch marker on, it might spread out a little bit. So what happens is because of that, I end up just so what happens is because it will spread, I'm afraid that the black would go into the yellow, but for some reason it didn't, so that was okay. The second thing is doing black before the yellow. If I colored in the black and then I drew the yellow, put out the yellow might have been like smudging on the black. So yeah, that whole thing is it's kind of debating whether or not what order you should put what color first so that way your markers don't just smudge onto each other. So yeah, sorry if it was confusing with how I was wording that. Literally someone was calling me when I'm filming right now. But yeah. So basically it's the whole debate of like which color should you put on first, because if you put on a darker color and it's not dry enough, your lighter color will smudge when you try to put it on, and when you put the lighter color on first, the darker color might just leak onto the lighter color, therefore covering it and like just taking over that color instead. So yeah, that's basically what I meant to say. um I really enjoyed this. I didn't make Hawks like super buff the way like I draw Bakugo and Kirishima. Honestly, I know that Kirishima and Bakugo are younger than Hawks, but their form of training might is probably different from Hawks, because Kirishima is more of a melee character based on like his physical body. He needs to be like buff in a certain way so that way he can actually handle people hitting him. As for Bakugo, his arms need to be super large just because his quirk has a lot of recoil percussions to it. So yeah, um, but it's basically why. But I think I drew them not really to scale because I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I think Hawks is supposed to be taller than them because, but then again, I don't remember how tall Hawks is because I think he's supposed to be a bit taller than them. But all I know is Kirishima and Bakugo are 5'7", so yeah, which is average height for guys in America. So yeah. Um, Anyways, all my red markers decided to have issues. So you'll see me switching between so many markers, and by the time I switched to like some of the other markers, it was more of orangey red markers, but they were more orange forward. So you'll see that it's like red and then it looks orange. So this isn't my best work of coloring his wings, to be honest. I didn't even add as much detail as I used to do when I drew him before. Honestly, this was just like a rush thing. Also, because it was in the background, I didn't want it to be like the main focus, anyways, so I thought it would be okay. Not the best, so I do apologize again. Um, yeah, I actually liked how this turned out compared to like other drawings that I did of hawks. I think I'm starting to learn the proportions more in terms of like not making the head too big. I did look at like my older pictures, especially for hawks. His head looked way larger scale than his body, and it was just really confusing how that happened. Especially with working with anime and stuff, because you start with the head first, so you have to proportion it right. So I'm learning how to do proportions. Honestly, my friend said I'm improving a lot, so that means it's good, but I still want to do like realistic proportions for my characters just because they're for the characters that I draw, because you know, it's kind of weird if I accidentally draw someone with like a bigger head. And here I am just coloring in the halo. By the way, I did not get to actually draw the whites of his eyes or put the white highlight on the halo part, just because, to be honest, the marker that I have for it ran out of ink and I need to go buy a new one. I should have bought like multiple at the time. I don't know why in my head I was like, yeah, I'ma just buy one and that's it. It's kind of hard to find like white highlight markers or pens too. So honestly, that was just me. Like, I think I thought I was gonna try that marker out and maybe, switch to a pen or something, but I think overall I just been using it until it runs out, and now is the time to replace it. So I wasn't able to do the white highlight. I might go back in later on when I buy a new one. I might go back in and add all the highlights because that's also a part of my style too. But it's not really super, like, I'm in no rush to go buy one because honestly, I don't go buying art supplies that much. I just wait until last minute, but I should be like planning out more of my art supplies. So yeah. I wanted to do like a smiley face because he's always mainly happy looking. He's always has this personality of mischief, but yet he's good at working. He wants to work in a world that basically doesn't involve everyone having to be a hero, everyone having to like work super hard, which is really hard to achieve. But I can see like he has a good point of view because it's like every single person has to be like on edge all the time and like be on guard all the time because there could be villains anywhere. And I think he's more of someone who just wants like peace, so that way when he wakes up, it's not always, oh, I have to go and like do work and stuff. It should just be like a nice patrol out in the city is what he wants. Um, yeah, Hawks is a more relaxed like vibe to him, but at the same time he's very good at work. So yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye.